Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today, we're taking a break from the Shadowlands specific stuff to take a look at a character who's been a part of Warcraft history since the beginning and has made a comeback in Shadowlands. This is the story of Kel'Thuzad. If this is something of interest to you, please hit the like button, subscribe for more lore videos in the future. But now, let's begin. Before the Second War, Kel'Thuzad was a member of the Council of Six, the High Council of the Kirin Tor, Masters of Dalaran, and of the Kirin Tor leaders, Kel'Thuzad was the most eager to gain access to the Guardian medivh's library, the depository of knowledge he hoarded in his Tower of Karazhan, and thus was the most upset when the library was lost. After medivh's death, Kel'Thuzad and the other senior members of the Kirin Tor questioned his apprentice, Khadgar, about what happened. Kel'Thuzad seemed particularly interested in learning more about the mysterious order of Tirisfal, which, as he pointed out to Antonidas, was relevant when discussing medivh. When seeing the Death Knights of the Horde in action during their raid of Dalaran, Kel'Thuzad grew more and more interested in necromancy, having seen what this power was capable of. Later on, a handful of powerful individuals scattered across the world heard the Lich King's mental summons from Northrend. Kel'Thuzad was the most notable of them, and the first to answer the call. Long considering him above the scriptures of his peers, Kel'Thuzad had been considered a maverick due to his insistence on studying the forbidden arts of necromancy. Upon hearing the mysterious summons from Northrend, he bent all of his considerable will to communing with the mysterious voice. Convinced that the Kirin Tor was too squeamish to seize the power and knowledge inherent in the dark arts, he vowed to learn what he could from the immensely powerful being named the Lich King. Eventually, Antonidas learned that Kel'Thuzad had been experimenting with necromancy by reanimating dead rats. Fearing for the safety and reputation of Dalaran, Antonidas had Kel'Thuzad's property searched. All items tainted by dark magic were confiscated and destroyed. Antonidas warned Kel'Thuzad that he would be stripped of his rank and holdings and exiled from both Dalaran and Lordaeron if he did not abandon this madness. Leaving behind his fortune and prestigious political standing, Kel'Thuzad abandoned the ways of the Kirin Tor and left Dalaran forever. Prodded by the Lich King's persistent voice in his mind, he sold his vast holdings and stored away his fortunes, traveling alone over many leagues of both land and sea. He finally reached the frozen shores of Northrend. Intent on reaching Icecrown and offering his services to the Lich King, the Archmage passed through the ravaged, war-torn ruins of Azjol Ner'zhul. Kel'Thuzad saw firsthand the scope and ferocity of Ner'zhul's power. He began to believe that allying himself with the mysterious Lich King would not only be wise, but potentially fruitful. Kel'Thuzad met with Anub'arak, who told him of all the power he could wield. Frightened by the horrors that he saw in Naxxramas, Kel'Thuzad teleported out and tried to escape, but unfortunately, he was surrounded by wraiths and was brought back inside.
I was cast out by my comrades, exiled, forced to wander the frozen wastes. But I was not alone, not entirely. The voice, now my only companion, guided me to my destination. Strange, nightmarish creatures awaited me at the entrance. I felt my blood run cold as Icecrown itself. Inside, I bore witness to horrific acts, demonstrations of power that could be mine for the asking. Terrified, I ran, but did not get far. All too soon, my choice was made. Too late did I realize that such power does not come without a price.
After long months of trekking through the harsh Arctic wastelands, Kel'Thuzad finally reached the dark glacier of Icecrown. He boldly approached Ner'zhul's dark citadel and was shocked when the silent undead guardsman let him pass as though he was expected. Kel'Thuzad descended deep into the cold earth and found his way down to the bottom of the glacier. Within the endless cavern of ice and shadows, he prostrated himself before the frozen throne and offered his soul to the Dark Lord of the Dead. The Lich King was pleased with his latest conscript. He promised Kel'Thuzad immortality and great power in exchange for his loyalty and obedience. Kel'Thuzad, eager for the dark knowledge and power, accepted his first great mission, go into the world of men, and found a new religion that would worship the Lich King as a god. To help the Archmage accomplish his mission, Ner'zhul left Kel'Thuzad's humanity intact. The aged yet still charismatic wizard was charged with using his powers of illusion and persuasion to lull the downtrodden, disenfranchised masses of Lordaeron into his confidence. Once he had their attention, he would offer them a new vision of what society could be, and a new figurehead to call their king. Kel'Thuzad returned to Lordaeron in disguise and in the floating dread citadel Naxxramas, and over the span of 3 years, he used his fortune and intellect to gather a clandestine brotherhood of like-minded men and women, the brotherhood which he called the Cult of the Damned, promised its acolytes social equality and eternal life on Azeroth in exchange for their service and obedience to Ner'zhul. As the months passed, Kel'Thuzad found many eager volunteers for his new cult amongst the tired, overburdened laborers of Lordaeron. Surprisingly, Kel'Thuzad's goal to pervert the citizens' faith in the Holy Light towards belief in Ner'zhul's dark shadow was easily attained. As the cult of the Damned grew in size and influence, Kel'Thuzad made sure to keep its workings secret from the authorities of Lordaeron at every turn. On Caer Darrow, Kel'Thuzad made a deal with the Barrow family and some of his cultists move into the Scholomance. Kel'Thuzad also convinced his friend, Baron Rivendare, to join the cult. With Kel'Thuzad's success in Lordaeron, the Lich King made the final preparations for his assault against human civilization. Placing his plague energies into a number of portable artifacts called plague cauldrons, Ner'zhul ordered Kel'Thuzad to transport the cauldrons to Lordaeron, where they would be hidden within the various cult-controlled villages. The cauldrons, protected by the loyal cultists, would then act as a plague generator by sending the plague seeping out across the unsuspecting farmlands and cities of northern Lordaeron. The Lich King's plan worked perfectly. Many of Lordaeron's northern villages were contaminated almost immediately.
Hello again, children. I am Kel'Thuzad, and I've come to deliver a warning. Leave well enough alone. Your curiosity will be the death of you.
Are you responsible for this plague, Necromancer? Is this cult your doing?
Yes, I ordered the Cult of the Damned to distribute the plagued grain. But the sole credit is not mine.
What do you mean?
I serve the Dreadlord, Mal'Ganis. He commands the scourge that will cleanse this land and establish a paradise of eternal darkness.
And what exactly is this scourge meant to cleanse?
Why, the living, of course. His plan is already in motion. Seek him out at Stratholme if you need further proof.
Just as in Northrend, the citizens who contracted the plague died and arose as the Lich King's willing slaves. The cultists under Kel'Thuzad were eager to die and be raised again in their Dark Lord's service. They exulted in the prospect of immortality through undeath. As the plague spread, more and more feral zombies arose in the Northlands. Kel'Thuzad looked upon the Lich King's growing army and named it the Scourge, for soon it would march upon the gates of Lordaeron and scour humanity from the face of the world. He then, upon the Lich King's instruction, oversaw the infection of a small town called Brill, where he was discovered by Jaina Proudmoore and Prince Arthas. From there, he quickly fled, and they followed him back to Andorhal, where he told Arthas of Mal'Ganis in Stratholme. Enraged, Arthas hunted Kel'Thuzad down and killed him, but not before Kel'Thuzad told him his death would mean little. But they were not finished yet. After Arthas had traveled to Northrend and slain Mal'Ganis with Frostmourne, he returned to Lordaeron and betrayed his kingdom and became a servant of the Lich King. Kel'Thuzad began to appear to him as a ghostly apparition after his protector, Gavinrad the Dire, was slain by Arthas and Kel'Thuzad's remains were reclaimed. He appeared only to Arthas and told him that he was not to trust the Dreadlords, explaining to Arthas that they were the Lich King's jailer, and promised to explain all of the Lich King's plans to Arthas once he walked the earth again in quel'thalas.
Come along now, Necromancer. The powers that you once served have need of you again.
Told you, my death would mean little.
What the? Am I hearing ghosts now?
It is I, Kel'Thuzad. I was right about you, Prince Arthas. Tell him nothing. Only you can hear me. The Dreadlords cannot be trusted. They are the Lich King's jailers. I will tell you all when I walk this world again.
Bruce, eternal quel'thalas. I haven't been here since I was a boy.
Be wary. The elves likely wait in ambush.
The frail elves do not concern me, Necromancer. Our forces are strengthened with every foe we slay.
Don't be too overconfident, Death Knight. The elves must not be taken lightly.
Kel'Thuzad watched over Arthas as he made a slow procession to the Sunwell and Silvermoon against the stratagems of Sylvanas Windrunner. Eventually, Arthas ravaged his way through the two elf gates and finally laid siege to Silvermoon itself, breaching through the fabled Sunwell. Arthas placed Kel'Thuzad's remains within the well, and with the help of Tichondrius, Kel'Thuzad was reborn into the terrifying form of a lich.
Now arise, Kel'Thuzad, and serve the Lich King once again.
I am reborn as promised. The Lich King has granted me eternal life.
I've upheld my end of the bargain, Lich. Are you ready to tell me about the Dreadlords now?
Certainly, but not here. They have eyes and ears everywhere. We'll talk where it's safe.
As they traveled to Anub'arak, Kel'Thuzad explained that the Scourge was merely the harbinger of the Burning Legion, and that he would summon the first of the demons, the Eredar warlock Archimonde, to the mortal world. After slaying the orcs guarding the demon gate, Kel'Thuzad communed with the Dark Lord, who told him that he must go to Dalaran and steal the Book of Medivh.
I call upon thee, Archimonde. Your humble servant seeks an audience. You called my name, puny lich, and I have come. You are Kel'Thuzad, are you not? Yes, Great One. I am the summoner. Very well then. There is a special tome you must find. The only remaining spellbook of medivh, the last guardian. Only his lost incantations are powerful enough to bring me into your world. Where should we search for it, Great One? Seek out the mortal city of Dalaran. It is there that the tome is kept. At twilight, 3 days from now, you will begin the summoning.
And with that, they marched upon Dalaran. But we'll pick this up in the next video. This is going to be a two-parter. Thanks so much for watching this one. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in part 2 of the story of Kel'Thuzad in about 2 days. Goodbye!